How's everyone doing?
Good.
Bob, you're first.
Oh, sorry. My bad. Hey, Jake, I know you guys thinking about Ohio State and the games you got ahead of you. Has any part of you thought about 2021 and what your plans are? Is that too far down the road?
That's a little bit far down the road right now.
What would it take for you to come back?
I don't. It's something I'm gonna have to look at and discuss with our coaches and my family, um, and then I'll decide at the end of the year at that point. So I don't really want to get into too specifics on that right now.
Sure. I know a lot of guys are in the same boat. And you guys talk about it at all, or is it kind of like it's one of those things off the side?
Yeah, no, we talk about it, and I talk about the other seniors and older guys out on our team, and it's a serious question and something that needs to be considered both ways. So.
Thanks, Jake.
Hey, Jake. You didn't sign with Lovey, but he's been your coach the entire time here, and
Yeah.
you guys seem to have developed a pretty, really close relationship. How did that kind of start to develop into what it is today?
I would say really the spring of my freshman year, our spring ball. I had a good spring ball, and then we started. He asked me to come meet with him, start meeting with him more and more, and then we kind of built a relationship through that, and then it kind of just progressed from there, honestly, and then developed more and more. And then after he had a lot of trust and faith in me coming off a serious knee injury that I was the guy, and from there, that's what really made me be loyal to Coach Smith. So.
When he took that interest in you early, I mean, this is still Lovey Smith, NFL coach. What did that mean to you, and what were those conversations? Were they football like stuff, or what were those conversations?
I mean, it started predominantly football, but then like when you're around someone that much, it's like it progresses to other stuff like family and life outside of football and different things like that. But yeah, I would say that's kind of how it definitely started from stemmed out from football.
What are chalk talks like with him? And pregame, I know he talks with you about the game plan and all that. What are those like for you, and what do you try to take from those?
Um, I try and get an idea of what like I'm not gonna say every time, but I'd like to say I have a good idea of what he wants to call in certain situations. I'm not gonna say I could sit there and be a D coordinator. I'm nowhere near that by any means, but I like to have an idea, and I think it's good that we are on the same page at certain in certain situations and different things like that. So we can get what we want to be in defensively at all times.
And obviously he knows a lot about NFL linebackers. He said you're an NFL prospect. How do you think he's kind of prepared you for that possibility?
I mean, we play in an NFL system, and he's done a great job getting me mentally ready. And I think from a physical standpoint, obviously you got the our strength conditioning staff, but I think he's done a great job and helped me take that next step from like mental side of things and really allowed. And this defense that he set up has really allowed us to the linebackers to flourish and do well.
Great. Thanks, Jake.
Yep.
Jake, you've obviously shown a knack for, whether it's punching the ball out or coming up with an interception. Has that always been like part of your football DNA? Was there a point where you're like, man, I'm doing this much more often than some of my peers are?
I really, honestly, it wasn't as like of course, like in high school, an interception was great and a forced fumble was great, but it wasn't like I wanted. Of course, I'd want all of them, right? But like it wasn't like something I was like thinking about the whole time, and I didn't value the what a turnover could actually do for like a game and changing momentum and things like that. And really, when I got here, it's what Coach Smith really hammered home with me. So that was something that I credit to him.
Was there any clear moment, or was it just kind of daily? That I mean, I remember in like the old meeting room, there was that football that came off the wall, and it was like punch, yank, whatever the heck it was. Was it something like that, or was there a moment where you're like, yeah, this really is a difference maker?
I would honestly, I can't give you like one moment where I really just was moved or changed. I think it was just realizing like getting a when you like see what it really does for the game, like it actually like it could be someone could have just scored a touchdown or like and we're back on defense, our offense went 3 and out and we have no momentum. But as soon as you get a turnover, like that's like, all right, there's hope, like we can turn this around right now, right? Like the different things like that. I think just realizing what it does and understanding football a little bit better. I think that's really what did it for me.
At the risk of giving too much of the game plan out, but what's the key to a good punch?
I mean, just being calculated with it. I think it's more about like seeing the ball and not as much just throwing wild punches at it, right?
My last thing for you, Jake, is do you ever look at, just numerically the forced fumbles you've had, and are you ever taken aback by it just in terms of where that number is compared to where maybe some other people across the country are?
Honestly, I am a little bit, and I just wanted. It's like I'm blessed to have that opportunity and being put in the situations that I am. So it's humbling, and I'm happy that I'm in that situation. I'm being able to help our team in that way. So
Thanks, Jake.
Jake, I'm sure you've gotten to watch some film from Ohio State. What are some of your big takeaways from that offense, and also just the fact that they actually had Justin Fields had a few issues last week. I know they still scored 42 points, but throwing some interceptions. I mean, does that give you guys a little bit of hope for slowing them down, I suppose?
yeah, I mean Fields obviously is a great player. And I don't know if he had a pick before that week, but he's been playing like lights out. Like, I mean, I think you can make the argument there that he's the best quarterback in college football right now. But I think, yeah, I mean, everyone has weaknesses, and I think Indiana was able to show those a little bit. But without getting too far into our strategy and our game plan, I think we're going to find different ways to get after them and get after they have a really good, talented wide receiver. They're honestly across the board, they have really good players and some of the best players in the country at their position. So it's going to be a great challenge one-on-one for every single player.
And and Carney kind of addressed this yesterday, but how do you approach a game like this as far as, what impact it can have on you moving forward, because it's such a big opportunity to face a team like an Ohio State?
I mean, I think you definitely step up your game prep, step up, do more, watch a little more film, maybe do a little couple extra individual drills or different hand placement stuff. I think that your preparation is just enhanced, right? And going into that week.
Thanks, Jake.
Yep.
Jake, I'm curious of your comfort level when you're outside. Say, there's a play on the Rutgers game where they obviously shifted a wide receiver over. The corner followed him. Then they shifted, I think, a tailback out, and you had him. When you're isolated out there, more or less, as a cornerback, what are your thoughts? How comfortable are you?
I mean, honestly, I hadn't done it in a pretty long time. But regardless, I feel comfortable. There was a play where I did get beat over the top, but that was a lack of technique, and I just once another week of practice, that was the first week we've been practicing it. So I mean, I just got to stay on top of the route, right?
Are you, would you say you're that guy in the locker room of like, okay, coach, if I got to be here, I'll do it. If I got to be here, are you open for anything? Do you prefer hey, put me inside and I can make the calls? Do you have a preference in that, or do you just hey, wherever I'm at, coach, I'll give you my best?
I mean, it's kind of just wherever we're needed, right? And I think, right now it's just depending on injuries and different players being able to play and where they're attacking us. I think that's kind of what it comes down to.
Thanks.
Hey, Jake, I had a quick follow-up. When you play a team like with Ohio State, with all the talent you say, what's that like for you, that kind of challenge?
I would say it's real. It's like exciting because then you like are there's everyone talks about, all right, you can make the argument that they're one. Some polls they're the one, some polls are the two, some polls are the three. But I think regardless, they're one of the best teams in the country. So playing against them, you're playing against NFL talent. And I think being able to if you being able to compete with them, like you can compete at the next level, right? And I think that's what it'll show for me and show for our team, right?
Thanks, Jake.
Mm-hmm.
Jake, last year there was a game, top 5 team nationally, 30-point underdogs. Is there any, or are there rather, any similarities going into this game? I mean, you guys have a win streak this time. Or do you draw back on that? Is there anything that you can draw a line and say these are similar?
I mean, you can, yeah. I mean, I think there's similar point spreads, and I think there are really both undefeated teams, but every year is different though. Like we gotta prepare as hard as we can and get ready for a big challenge of Ohio State, and I think there are some similarities you can draw back. I think the biggest takeaway from that is we can play with anyone in the country, right? And we're playing well. So I think that's the biggest takeaway from the Wisconsin game and comparing it to this game.
Thanks, Jake.
Awesome. Appreciate you guys.